Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda, Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda, Shri Radhe. Jaya Panchatattva, 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 Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva, 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 Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Yajna ki Jai, Caitanya Mahaprabhu ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you very much, Sumedha. So, dear devotees, Raghupati Prabhu, the speaker scheduled for today, had informed me that he's unable to do the class tonight. So, I'll be replacing him. I was informed only yesterday night. So, we will read something from Chaitanya Charitamrita. There are some wonderful pastimes that we can thoroughly relish and enjoy. So please, stay tuned, and we can certainly take some message home tonight. Om Ajnanatimiran, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Caitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Katamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Cham Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunadanvitam Tam Sajivam साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगना ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा। So Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to this Friday class. So we have been discussing the pastimes of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu from the book entitled Sri Caitanya Charitamrita. And today we're going to narrate and discuss some of the pastimes from Madhya Leela of Sri Caitanya Charitamrita, where Mahaprabhu visited South India. So while he visited South India, so he had performed some pastimes, and those pastimes we're going to narrate today from chapter 7 of Madhya Leela. But before we do that, let me just read something from Caitanya Charitamrita. So this is the chapter we're going to read some of the pastimes from. Very, very beautiful and very instructive pastimes which we're going to discuss today. And this particular verse, and Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, the author of Caitanya Charitamrita, he says, Shraddha kariyai lila ye kare shravana achirate milaya tare Chaitanya Charana. It says, one who hears these pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with great faith will surely very soon attain the lotus feet of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the author, he gives this benediction to all of the hearers of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. What is required? Shraddha, with great faith. Shravana, one who hears these pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What happens? Very soon, Achirate Milaya Thare Chaitanya Charana. One will attain the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Achirate means very, very quickly, very soon. So let us hear these pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with great faith. So I'll be asking and requesting some of the devotees to read. So yes, before we begin again, so just to give you a bit of background, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed around 24 years in Navadvip. After taking sannyas, renounced order of life on the request of his mother Sachi Devi, he settled in Jagannath Puri. And while in Jagannath Puri, he wanted to visit South India, the holy places in South India. And he requested many times whether he could take their permission and go. Only after few requests, he was granted permission by the devotees of Jagannath Puri. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then given one assistant named Krishna Dasa. Krishna Das, one Brahman, became the servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who could carry his part, some of his clothes, like that, who could assist him. So he was traveling, Krishna Das was traveling with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this was the kirtan he was doing while touring South India. So this is the famous one, and that is given in 95, text 95, 96. Okay. Let me share a very beautiful one, this one. So text 95, he says, almost like a mad lion, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, went on his tour filled with ecstatic love and performing Sankirtan, chanting Krishna's name as follows. So these were the names Mahaprabhu chanted while touring South India. Krishna, 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 He. Krishna, 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 He. Krishna, 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 Rakshamam. Krishna, 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 Payimam. Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rakshamam. Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Pahimam. Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Pahimam. So that is, O Lord Rama, O descendant of King Raghu, please protect me. O Krishna, O Keshava, killer of the Keshi demon, please maintain me. So This was the mantra. So he was chanting while touring South India. So let us, could I request someone to read from text 97 to 1112? Sorry, 112. Sorry.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, someone reading?
Yeah, I don't know who is reading. Mataji, is it who raised? Sorry, I can't see because I'm sharing the screen. Mataji, if you want, you can read from 97 to 112. Haribol?
Haribol Prabhuji.
Yes, please.
Chanting this verse, Lord Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, known as Gaurahari, went on his way. As soon as he saw someone, he would request him to chant Hari Hari. Whoever heard Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu chant Hari Hari also chanted the holy name of Lord Hari and Krishna. In this way, they all followed the Lord very eager to see him. Text 99. After some time, the Lord would embrace these people and bid them return home, having invested each of them with spiritual potency. Text 100.
Yes, please.
Yes. Each of these empowered persons would return to his own village, always chanting the holy name of Krishna and sometimes laughing, crying, and dancing. Text 101. Such an empowered person would request everyone and anyone whomever he saw to chant the holy name of Krishna. In this way, all the villagers would also become devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 102. People from different villages who came to see such an empowered individual would become like him simply by seeing him and receiving the mercy of his glance. Text 103. When each of these newly empowered individuals returned to his own village, he also converted the villagers into devotees. And when others came from different villages to see him, they were also converted. 104. In this way, as empowered men went to from one village to another, all the people of South India became devotees. Text 105. Thus, many hundreds of people became Vaishnavas when they passed the Lord on the way and were embraced by him. Text 106. In whatever village Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu stayed to accept alms, many people came to see him. Text 107. By the mercy of the Supreme Lord Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, everyone became a first-class devotee. Later, they became teachers or spiritual masters and liberated the entire world. Text 108. In this way, the Lord went to the extreme southern part of India and he converted all the provinces to Vaishnavism. Text 109. Lord Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu did not manifest his spiritual potencies at Navdvipa, but he did manifest them in South India and liberated all the people there. Text 110. Lord Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu's empowering of others can be understood by one who is actually a devotee of the Lord and who has received his mercy. Text 111. If one does not believe in the uncommon transcendental pastimes of the Lord, he is vanquished both in this world and in the next. Text 112. Whatever I have stated about the beginning of the Lord's tour should also be understood to hold for as long as the Lord toured South India.
Thank you very much.
That's it, Prabhuji? Okay.
That's it.
Thank you.
That is
Thank you, Prabhuji.
So here, while Mahaprabhu was touring, he was just pouring his mercy like a cloud filled with water. This cloud pours water everywhere. It doesn't see whether it is ocean. It also pours water on ocean also. on stone and grass and land, everywhere the cloud, without any discrimination, pours water. Similarly, this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu poured his mercy. And so Mahaprabhu was chanting Hari Hari and embracing people and empowering them, giving his mercy, empowering them. And they were returning to their own villages, and they were transforming other people in their villages. And so we can certainly see in our movement also. So how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how Srila Prabhupada transformed, all these people all over the world. That is to be understood, that how much mercy Srila Prabhupada must have received from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So also it is mentioned in one of the texts that Mahaprabhu did not manifest these mercy, giving mercy in Navadvip, whereas he did so in South India. So Prabhupada explains very nicely in the purport. So text 109, we see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not manifest his spiritual potencies at Navadvipa, but he did manifest them in South India and liberated all the people there. So Prabhupada writes something very interesting in this section here. So I'll read part of the section. By this, it is to be understood that people are really interested in preaching in a favorable situation. So people like to preach in a favorable situation, isn't it? If the candidates for conversation are too disturbing, a preacher may not attempt to spread Krishna consciousness amongst them. It is better to go where the situation is more favorable. This Krishna conscious movement was first attempted in India, but the people of India, being absorbed in political thoughts, did not take to it. They were entranced by the political leaders. We preferred, therefore, to come to the West, following the order of our spiritual master, and by the grace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this movement is becoming successful. So at that time, it looks like the people of Navadvipa, they are very much attached to the ritualistic principles of the Vedic literature, rather than becoming inclined to the devotional path. They were very ritualistic, these Brahmanas in Navadvipa. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not give his mercy, or did not fully manifest his mercy in Navadvip, as per that verse. Whereas in South India, he did so. Prabhupada gives wonderful explanation that he wanted to actually spread this Krishna conscious movement in India. He tried his level best, but the people in India were not accepting it, because they were simply engrossed in the sense gratification, in the political and other industrial matters. So Prabhupada says that that's why I came to the West, and I preached in the West, and now this movement is becoming very successful. So we can see that whether one is Indian or not Indian, these days they're all on the same level. They're all on the same level. So Prabhupada says that Indians did not accept this message in India. And just see their situation. So let's move on, and now we will read a beautiful pastime that happened in a place called Kurma Kshetra. This is in a place nearby Srikakulam in South India, where people speak Telugu language. There is a temple of Kurmadev. Kurma is one of the incarnations of the Lord. Kurma means a tortoise, turtle. So Lord took this turtle form when these demons and the demigods, when they were churning the milk ocean, using a mountain as a churning rod. They used Mandara mountain as churning rod and the Vasuki as a rope. So when they placed it in the milk ocean, it sunk. So Lord actually took the form of this tortoise, and actually, stayed, actually became a base for this mountain. And this is called Kurma. So this place is Kurma Kshetra. In this place, Kurmadev, Lord's tortoise form, is worshipped. So that's where Caitanya Mahaprabhu went. And so he met a Brahmin. We will read that pastime. So could I kindly request next devotee to read from 113 to 129. Who is that devotee who is kindly willing to read from 112 to 129? Sorry, 113 to 129.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Please. 113 onwards.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Shall I read?
Please.
Thank you, Prabhu. When Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu came to the holy place known as Kurma Kshetra, he saw the deity and offered prayers and obeisances. While at this place, Lord Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu was in his usual ecstasy of love of Godhead and was laughing, crying, dancing, and chanting. Everyone who saw him was astonished. After hearing of these wonderful occurrences, everyone came to see him there. When they saw the beauty of the Lord and his ecstatic condition, they were all struck with wonder. Just by seeing Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, everyone became a devotee. They began to chant Krishna and Hari and all the holy names. They all were merged in a great ecstasy of love, and they began to dance, raising their arms. Always hearing them chant the holy names of Lord Krishna, the residents of all the other villages also became Vaishnavas. By hearing the holy name of Krishna, the entire country became Vaishnava. It was as if the nectar of the holy name of Krishna overflooded the entire country. After some time, when Lord Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu manifested his external consciousness, a priest of the Lord Kurma deity gave him various offerings. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu's mode of preaching has already been explained, and I shall not repeat the explanation. In whichever village the Lord entered, his behavior was the same. In one village, there was a Vedic Brahmana named Kurma. He invited Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu to his home with great respect and devotion. This Brahmana brought Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu to his home, washed his lotus feet, and with his family members drank that water. With great affection and respect, that Kurma Brahmana made Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu eat all kinds of food. After that, the remnants were shared by all the members of the family. The Brahmana then began to pray, "O my Lord, your lotus feet are meditated upon by the Lord Brahma, and these very lotus feet have come into my home. My dear Lord, there is no limit to my great fortune. It cannot be described. Today my family, birth, and riches have all been glorified." The Brahmana begged Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu, "My dear Lord, kindly show me favor and let me go with you. I can no longer tolerate the waves of misery caused by materialistic life." Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, "Don't speak like that again. Better to remain at home and chant the holy name of Krishna always. Instruct everyone to follow the orders of Lord Krishna, Sri Krishna, as they are given in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. In this way, become a spiritual master and try to liberate everyone in this land." Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Do I stop here?
Next one, please.
Okay. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu further advised the Brahmana Kurma, if you follow this instruction, your materialistic life at home will not obstruct your spiritual advancement. Indeed, if you follow these regulative principles, we will again meet here, or rather, you will never lose my company.
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
So this is a very instructive lesson for all of us from the pastime of Kurma Brahman. So there was a Brahman in that Kurma Kshetra, in the place known as Kurma Kshetra. So this Brahman invited Mahaprabhu to his home. And how did he receive Mahaprabhu? So he washed his feet and he drank. He took some of that water, he drank. First he sprinkled that water on the heads of everyone in the family, and then he drank that water, and then fed Mahaprabhu very nicely. So this is the way we should receive the guests. So inviting devotees and feeding devotees is very important aspect of our devotional service. And our home becomes sanctified when a devotee comes to our home. So then after interacting this way, so this Brahman said that, "My Lord, I want to go with you. I've had enough in my family life. I want to go with you." I means renounce everything and just simply chant Hare Krishna. So that was his request. So not sure how many of us are ready to, ask the same thing that Kurma Brahman had asked now. Although Prabhupada writes in the purport, he was from a wealthy family, this Brahman. Yet he could feel the pains of this material world. The material nature is such that it will influence everyone. Whether we are rich or poor, small or big, whether we live in one part of the world or the other part of the world, wherever we live, irrespective of our external condition, we still have to suffer in this material world. That is the nature. So this Brahman said, "My Lord, let me go with you. I will give up everything." And Mahaprabhu, he gives a very nice instruction to this Kurma Brahman, which is applicable to all of us. And in text 127, we see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that, "Don't speak like that again. Better to remain at home and chant the holy name of Krishna always." So here, the most important thing is chant the holy name of Krishna always is important. So our Bhaktivinoda Thakur had composed a poem. In that he says that whether you live in the forest or at home in the town, the main thing is that chanting the holy name of Krishna is important. If that is done, that place becomes a holy place. So, yes, Madhakumar Prabhu, you raised your hand.
Yeah, sorry, Prabhu. I was just eager to share the name of the bhajan, Gaye Gora Madhur Sware. That's where.
Bhajan Sandhya manager.
No, I only recently was trying to memorize a bhajan for the next session, and I picked this one. Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions in there, no matter where you are,
Yes.
just
So
follow what Mahaprabhu is doing, chant Hari.
Chant. And because you said that, you may kindly read this purport also.
Sure, Prabhu, with pleasure. Hare Krishna. It is not advisable in this age of Kali to leave one's family suddenly, for people are not trained as proper brahmacharis and grihasthas. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised the Brahmana not to be too eager to give up family life. It would be better to remain with his family and try to become purified by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra regularly under the direction of his spiritual master. This is the instruction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If this principle is followed by everyone, then there is no need to accept sannyas. In the next verse, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advises everyone to become an ideal householder by offenselessly chanting the Hare Krishna mantra and teaching the same principle to everyone he meets. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Rama,
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
So here, very nice, beautiful purport by Prabhupada. So people are not trained to give up family life in this current age. So he says that simply better to remain in the family life, but continue to chant this Hare Krishna Mahamantra under the direction of a bona fide spiritual master. This is very important. We may chant the mantra without having a spiritual master, but we would get most benefit if we take initiation and chant Hare Krishna mantra. Prabhupada says that if all the householders, if they keep chanting this Hare Krishna mantra while staying at their home, then there is no need for sannyas. So it is a simple principle that it is not difficult. Let me just see some questions here. What is the verse number for this purport? It is text 127. This is a beautiful purport. You can all read, and it will give a lot of encouragement for all of us, that the key ingredient is that we remain at home, but the main point is that we should chant the holy name of the Lord incessantly. And what else Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said? Let us see. Now, this is another famous verse that is often quoted by everyone. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, not only says that, just remain at home and chant Hare Krishna mantra, but he also says, Yare deka tare kaha Krishna upadesha amara agnaya guru anatare hai desha. Instruct everyone to follow the orders of Lord Sri Krishna as they are given in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. In this way, become a spiritual master and try to liberate everyone in this land. So Mahaprabhu's instruction is stay at home, but chant Hare Krishna. No need to give up the family life. Secondly, Yare deko tare kaho Krishna upadesh. Wherever you go, whomever you meet, tell them Krishna's instructions. What are the instructions? These instructions, Krishna's instruction, are given in the Bhagavad Gita and in the Srimad Bhagavatam. What are the instructions of Krishna? Krishna says that give up everything, surrender unto me. I will look after you. I'll take care of you. So this was the main instruction of Sri Krishna. So Mahaprabhu says that, yes, wherever you go, whomever you meet, please just please convey the message of Lord Sri Krishna. Convey the instructions of Lord Sri Krishna given in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. That way you become spiritual master and deliver all the people of this land. See, so Prabhupada writes in the purport. So Prabhupada says that so it is difficult for people to give up their family life in this day and age, but they can simply do one thing. They can read Srimad Bhagavatam, they can chant Hare Krishna mantra, they can read a little bit of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, chant Hare Krishna mantra, follow the 4 regulative principles, namely no gambling, no illicit sex, no meat eating, no intoxication. Follow these 4 principles. Chant Hare Krishna mantra, read Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and then prepare some nice food stuff and offer it to Lord Krishna. Then take that prasadam. That is it. So it is so simple. That is, one should stay at home, chant Hare Krishna mantra, and preach the instruction of Krishna as they are given in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So, and then in text 129, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu further advised Brahmana Kurma, if you follow these instructions, your materialistic life at home will not obstruct your spiritual advancement. Indeed, if you follow these regulative principles, we will again meet here. Rather, you will never lose my company. So let us read this purport as well, very small and again very instructive purport. So Neela Mataji, would you like to read the purport, please?
Yes, Prabhuji. Okay. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
There is an opportunity for everyone. If one simply follows the instructions of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu under the guidance of his representative and chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, teaching everyone as far as possible the same principle, the contamination of the materialistic way of life will not even touch him. It does not matter whether one lives in a holy place like Vrindavan, Navadvip, or Jagannath Puri, or in the midst of European cities, where the materialistic way of life is very prominent. If a devotee follows the instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he lives in the company of the Lord. Wherever he lives, he converts that place into Vrindavan and Navadvip. This means that materialism cannot touch him. This is the secret of success for one advancing in Krishna consciousness.
Thank you very much, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
So here, Mahaprabhu says that if you follow this instruction, your materialistic life at home will not obstruct your spiritual advancement. And then he says, if you follow these principles, we will meet here. Rather, you will never lose my company. So if we follow the instructions of Prabhupada, that means we are always with Prabhupada. Always with Prabhupada. These instructions are very simple and very easy to follow. They are not complicated. So simply Prabhupada is, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that stay at home, chant Hare Krishna. While you chant Hare Krishna, you tell others to chant Hare Krishna. So in other words, preaching is the essence. So for all of us, it is very important that we spread this, we spread the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When we try to spread this mission, we will be given that mercy. So some or other we should see how can, some or other we should think that how can I spread this Krishna consciousness? There are two ways. One is direct preaching and the other is indirect preaching. So if you are able to convey this message to others, please do that in any means. You need not to sit on a Vyasasana and speak about it. It is not like that. If you have a friend, a family member, if you have a colleague, so you can simply convey that message. So that's one way. The other way is that you can support the preacher. If there is a preaching center anywhere, the other indirect preaching is simply support that preaching center in any way possible. Like, whatever your talent, but if you are a cook, please, we can cook, we can make some prasadam. If you have little money, that can be donated. If you have little time, we can come and do some service in the temple. Like that, there are a number of services. If we do some service to Prabhupada's center, are we favoring Prabhupada? Are we favoring Prabhupada? No, he is favoring us by giving the opportunity to serve. Sometimes devotees think that, I am serving. But actually, I'm doing a favor for this center. I'm doing a favor for this center. But actually, no, Prabhupada is doing a favor for us by giving an opportunity to serve. That point we have to just realize and at least appreciate that point. We are not favoring the center, rather Prabhupada is favoring us by giving these wonderful service opportunities. And everyone can do to their level best. We all have, we are all different individuals, we have different talents. So different people can engage according to their own nature. And try and help this mission. Here Mahaprabhu says that I'm always with that person. If one is, I'm always with that person who is involved in the preaching mission. If someone involves in the preaching mission, Mahaprabhu, we will not, that person will never lose the association of Mahaprabhu. That is the promise of Mahaprabhu. So on that pastime, let's see if anybody has any thoughts or anything, then we'll move to another small pastime. And that is also very instructive. There are a couple of messages here. Beautiful describe the art of service. Yes. Any realization or any comments on that before we move on to the next pastime? Okay. So everyone is quiet.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, please.
The verse, very famous verse you quoted very nicely, Yare Deko Tare Kaho Krishna Padesh. But a nice realization that I've had is that Srila Prabhupada, why he was so effective at doing that is because he was always practicing in not just his preaching, but his normal actions, day-to-day actions. He was also Krishna conscious. Because if a pujari is doing pujari worship Krishna consciously, but then outside of pujari worship they are behaving materialistically, then it's not as effective. So when we see example of Pankajangri and Jananivas Prabhu, they were able to touch the hearts of so many people because during their pujari worship they would do with great devotion, but also outside of the service as well. So I just thought it was a nice little point that this Krishna consciousness is not exclusive to service. It's there in the service, and it's also done in day-to-day life. It's not just for show. It's something we actually live by and something we practice, and it's practical rather than just for show's sake. That's all.
Thank you very much, Sumedha, for sharing that wonderful point. Also, I just want to mention here that so to get the mercy, how do we please Krishna? By pleasing Radharani. How do we please Radharani? By pleasing Caitanya Mahaprabhu. How do we please Caitanya Mahaprabhu? By pleasing Nityananda Prabhu. How do we please Nityananda Prabhu? Nityananda Prabhu represents Guru, is Guru Tattva, by pleasing Prabhupada. By pleasing Prabhupada, we please Nityananda Prabhu. By pleasing Nityananda Prabhu, Caitanya Mahaprabhu is pleased. When Caitanya Mahaprabhu is pleased, Radharani is automatically pleased. Then Sri Krishna, Lord Sri Krishna, will be pleased. So let us ask this question every single day. How can I serve? How can I please Prabhupada? Very important question. This one question, if we ask every single day, how can I please Prabhupada? And then one day our life will be successful. Okay, let's read the next section, starting from 136, small pastime. Hare Krishna. Who would like to read? Please. Okay, so 136 to 150, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Pavan, he wants to read.
Okay, Pavan, yes. Hare Krishna, Pavan, please read.
Hare Krishna. Where 136 to
150, please.
Oh. Okay. One sec, I can't see because of your camera. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji.
There was also a Brahmana named Vasudeva, who was a great person but was suffering from leprosy. Indeed, his body was filled with living worms. Text 137. Although suffering from leprosy, the Brahmana Vasudeva was enlightened. As soon as one worm fell from his body, he would pick it up and place it back again in the same location. Then one night Vasudeva heard of Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu's arrival, and in the morning he came to see the Lord at the house of Kurma. When the leper Vasudeva came to Kurma's house to see Caitanya Mahaprabhu, he was informed that the Lord had already left. The leper then fell to the ground unconscious. When Vasudeva, the leper Brahmana, was lamenting due to not being able to see Caitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord immediately returned to that spot and embraced him. When Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu touched him, both the leprosy and his distress went to a distant place indeed. Vasudeva's body became very beautiful to his great happiness. The Brahmana Vasudeva was astonished to behold the wonderful mercy of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, and he began to recite a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, touching the Lord's lotus feet. He said, "Who am I, a sinful poor friend of the Brahmana, and who is Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, full of six opulences? Nonetheless, he has embarrassed me with his two arms."
Embraced me.
Yeah.
Embraced me.
Embraced him with two arms.
Yes, please.
The Brahmana Vasudeva continued, "O merciful Lord, such mercy is not possible for ordinary living entities. Such mercy can be found only in you. Upon seeing me, even a sinful person goes away due to a bad bodily odor. Yet you have touched me, such is the independent behavior of the Supreme Personality of Godhead." Being meek and humble, the Brahmana Vasudeva worried that he would become proud after being cursed by the grace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. To protect the Brahmana, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised him to chant the Hare Krishna mantra incessantly. By doing so, he would never become unnecessarily proud. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also advised Vasudeva to preach about Krishna and thus liberate living entities. As a result, Krishna would very soon accept him as a devotee. After instructing the Brahmana Vasudeva in that way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu disappeared from that place. Then the two Brahmanas, Kurma and Vasudeva, embraced each other and began to cry, remembering the transcendental qualities of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Thus I have described how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reclaimed the leper Vasudeva and so received the name Vasudeva Mitra Prada.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Pawan. Very nice to hear you read. Thank you so much for taking part. This is another very instructive little story. We'll just take a couple of minutes and conclude this session. There was another Brahman named in the same village, Vasudeva. So he was a leper. He had leprosy, and so he was such a great personality that when a worm from his wound falls on the ground, he would pick it up and put it back. So that's how great he was. So when he came to know that Mahaprabhu was at the place of Kurma Brahman, then he rushed to see Mahaprabhu. But by the time he had reached that place, Mahaprabhu had left. So he was lamenting like anything. So while he was lamenting, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just came back all of a sudden, appeared there on the spot, embraced him. And when Mahaprabhu embraced him, his leprosy was completely cured and he became a beautiful, handsome person. And this Brahman was so happy and so like he was yes, he was praising the Lord for his mercy upon him. And he said, one request, Mahaprabhu, because now I became so handsome, there is a possibility that I might become proud. So what do I need to do? So Mahaprabhu's instruction was simply chant Hare Krishna. And he also says another thing to this Vasudeva in text 148. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also advised Vasudeva to preach about Krishna and thus liberate living entities. As a result, Krishna would very soon accept him as a devotee. So let's read this purport. Nilamata, you wanted to read. Would you like to read this purport, please?
Okay. Although Vasudev Vipra was a leper and had suffered greatly, still after Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu cured him, he instructed him to preach Krishna consciousness. Indeed, the only return the Lord wanted was that Vasudev preach the instructions of Krishna and liberate all human beings. That is the process of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Each and every member of this society was rescued from a very abominable condition, but now they are engaged in preaching the cult of Krishna consciousness. They are not only cured of the disease called materialism, but are also living a very happy life. Everyone accepts them as the great devotees of Krishna, and their qualities are manifest in their very faces. If one wants to be recognized as a devotee by Krishna, he should take to preaching, work, following the advice of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then one will undoubtedly attain the lotus feet of Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Lord Krishna himself, without delay.
Thank you very much, Mataji. So Mahaprabhu says to Vasudeva, after curing him, just to simply preach about Krishna, thus liberate all the living entities. And if you do this, Krishna would very soon accept you as a devotee. So here, Prabhupada writes in the purport, if one wants to be recognized as a devotee by Krishna, he should take to preaching work, following the advice of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then one will undoubtedly attain the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Lord Krishna himself without delay. So we all should, following these wonderful two pastimes, we can understand how important this preaching mission is. We practice, at the same time, we share it with others. That is very, very, very important. As I've discussed earlier, that we can do indirect preaching also. Sometimes if you are not able to convey this message to others, we can assist the people who are already doing. Say, for example, I'll give small example. There was a Ramayana course for teens by one of the nice devotee called Shubhavilas Prabhu in August, this course. So my wife, she would just, post this message to all our contacts and speak to the colleagues and ask them to register to this course. So she's been doing very diligently. So like that, sometimes if you are not preaching, we can assist the people who are preaching. So Krishna sees our sincerity, doesn't see the external things. He takes our real mood. That's why he's called Bhavagrahi Janardana. He takes the essence. He doesn't see our real talents, but he sees the mood in which we are actually offering the service to Lord Krishna. Whether we do big or small, it doesn't matter. What matters is that sincerity, offering that service with sincerity. That's what Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sees. So let us all imbibe that mood and see how we can help in the preaching mission of Srila Prabhupada. So I will stop there. So Bolo Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai,
Jai.
Kurma Brahman ki jai,
Jai.
Vasudeva Prabhu ki jai,
Jai.
Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda ki jai,
Jai.
Nitai Gaura Premanandi,
Hari 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 Bol.
Very quick announcements. As you all know that we are reopening the temple from this Sunday, partially reopening. And so there will be change in the class time. The class will be on Zoom again from 11:30 till 12:30, 11:30 to 12:30. And followed by, there will be live broadcasting of Temple Harti from 12:30 to 1. From 1 o'clock onwards, we will open the temple for darshan. And every devotee will be given by a packet of small packet of prasadam. We are not able to offer a full-fledged prasadam just now. But however, devotees will pack some prasadam and hand it over to you. Please do register if you are planning to come to the temple. Please kindly do register. We have posted a registration form in our group IM Info. So if you have not done the registration yet, please kindly do so. So we are going to allow each family at a time into the temple room, and we are requesting all the devotees to put on their mask. And if you have any COVID-related symptoms, we request to stay at home, not to come to the temple. So once you enter into the temple room, we are also requesting not to offer obeisances falling on the ground, but you can offer obeisances while standing to Prabhupada and Panchatattva. And then devotees will give you a small packet of prasadam. And we are also trying to erect some of the marquees in the back garden and put some benches and maybe a couple of tables. So devotees can probably gather there, maintaining some social distance. So I would a request that please do come. It's been a while that we met each other. So please do visit. Yes, Sri Vatsa Prabhu.
Good, Prabhu. This registration, is it only for this Sunday, Prabhu, or is it for subsequent weeks as well?
So it's a good question. The main reason we have introduced this is we don't know how many devotees would require prasadam. So this is to help cooks mainly, so that they can prepare the right quantity of prasadam. So we don't know, like, because of the COVID, some devotees may not be able to attend given their circumstance. So we just wanted to know the numbers so we can inform the cooks and they can prepare the right quantity of prasadam.
So in future, if we want, because this weekend we would be able to make it, Prabhu, but the next subsequent week.
Yeah. Every time, I think for next few weeks, I think we will introduce this. Yes, okay. Every time. Okay, that's it from me. Madhav Kumar Prabhu, anything from the book table?
No, thank you for the wonderful narration, Prabhu, and thank you for driving home the point that even though we may be limited, there are opportunities for us to connect through service. And pleasing Krishna is not insisting Krishna stands in front of you. There is a bona fide disciplic succession. You have to follow that. And we have access to the Guru and his Vani and implement the instruction, discharge service, and thereby hope to please Krishna. So Bhadra campaign is on. And if you have any friends or families you think would appreciate and benefit from reading Krishna's words in Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, please feel free to reach out. Let us know if you want us to speak on your behalf, and we'd be happy to deliver these wonderful scriptures on your behalf. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Madhav Kumar Prabhu. Thank you, everyone. And hopefully see some of you on Sunday. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Hari Hari Bo.